welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be recording how I got ready for my graduation photos. I'm going in with a little bit of primer, mostly in like my T-zone area where I have large pores, and just rubbing that in. And then I'm going to hydrate my lips with a lip mask to get ready for makeup. I'm using the Laneige Lip Mask. I'll probably link everything that I use down below. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid highlight on the high points of my cheeks to add a little bit of glow, but not too intense because I want it to look like kind of natural for photos. And just rubbing that in, kind of makes me look like the Tin Man. Still rubbing that in, it seems. I kind of put it on all over the high areas of my face, brow bone, bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow. Then I go in with foundation, which covers most of it up, but it still adds like that nice glowy look without making it like too highlighted. And then I just put like my foundation all over my face, and then I'm going to blend it out with a brush. So now I'm just blending my foundation out with a brush, and I kind of take it everywhere, like all over my face, even my eyelids. I'm going to take it down my neck, probably even a little bit on my chest, because I really want everything to match. So I'm just going to probably blend that for like a fairly long time. Yeah, see, make it go fast, because blend, blend, blend. And then I take a sponge and go over everywhere that I went with the brush, just to make sure there's no like brush strokes in my face. And then we're going to go in with concealer. Now I'm going in with concealer all over my under eye area, and I kind of make it into like a triangle. I know people say this is like very 2017 way of doing concealer, but it works for me, and I think it really brightens up my face. So for photos, I kind of add a lot of bright concealer to like make the light go to the front of my face. So yeah, we're going to do a lot of like highlighting and contouring to make sure we look extra hot for photos. Now I'm just going to blend out that concealer and make some really funny, awkward faces. Make sure we blend out any of the areas where we might crease up really well, so that like we don't have any concealer like settling in our like fine lines. We're going to use some setting powder to make sure the concealer like sits really nice. So I just mostly bake right under my eyes, and I make terrible faces as I'm doing this to keep my eyes really open to make sure all like the fine lines are like laying flat. And then I just leave that baking powder on for probably like less than a minute or two, just to like get it on the wet concealer, but like not let it sit so long that it's like gonna look cakey. So I just brush it off basically immediately after. So just like 1 to 2 minutes on my face. Then I go in with this like luminous powder and kind of set the other areas of my face. I know that seems like a lot of powder, but I swear it's really not. Once our foundation is nice and dry and set, we're going to go in with a contour powder. I'm using the Chocolate Soleil bronzer right in the hollows of my cheekbones. And I put it on pretty intense at first, but we're going to blend it out, so don't worry. I also put it all around my forehead, and I think I'm going to put it on my jawbone as well, kind of just to get like all the hollows of my face like nice and chiseled out. Yeah, right down there because that will make sure you don't look like you have like a double chin and it will make your jaw look super snatched. And then I'm going in with a lighter bronzer. It's the same one, just the shade lighter because I'm dramatic and I feel like it makes it look more blended, but you definitely don't have to do that. You can just use one bronzer if you're not high maintenance like me. I'm basically going over all the same spots. I don't know why I kept this part, but yeah, basically go over all the same spots with the lighter bronzer and then keep blending it. And then I'm going to go in with blush. Just like a nice pink blush that matches your skin tone. This one's a matte one. It doesn't have any shimmer or anything in it. I feel like you can't really tell on camera how much blush I put on, but make sure you put on a fair amount of blush for grad photos because I feel like it's something that really brings your face to life, like in photos. But in person, it might look a little bit bold. And I'm actually going to put two blushes on. I'm going to put a matte blush and then go over with a shimmery blush over top. Just because I like having two blushes. So yeah, here's my shimmery blush and I just put that right over top just to kind of blend it in and add like more dimension and more like luminosity. Now we're going in with brows. I'm kind of bad at filming my brows because I feel like I have to like look really closely at a mirror. So yeah, I would just recommend filling in your brows as natural as possible because you don't want them to like look overdone. But definitely fill in your brows for photos because you wouldn't want them to look like kind of thin or just like not really there. I feel like in photos, you can take a picture and like just see your skin through your brows. And I used to really hate that look. So yeah, just fill in your brows. Make sure there's like no sparse areas, but definitely don't overdo it. Remember like 2016, 2017 when we were all like over filling our brows? I think we've all come a long way since then. And then I'm going to use the same concealer as a primer for my eyeshadow. And then I'm going to go in with a super bougie palette that I bought specifically for grad photos. And I'm also going to use my Soft Glam palette because why not? So I'm going to use the bronzer, the lighter bronzer, as my transition shade. I use bronzer as an eyeshadow a lot actually, and I think it makes everything look really cohesive. So I'm just going to blend that all in my crease before we get started with eyeshadow. I guess I'm going to take a really long time blending it for some reason. Okay, we get it. We know what bronzer in our eyelid looks like. Okay, just keep doing that for a while, I guess. And then I took a clean brush and I just blended out the edges a little bit. Not that there was too much to blend out because I was literally just using a transition shade, but I'm taking extra precautions because it's graduation photos. Then I took the burnt orange shade and the other warm brown shade in the palette and just started adding that towards the outer corners of my eye, but I'm definitely going to take it into the crease and like blend it out in the same areas that the transition shade was in, just to add more depth and dimension. And I'm probably going to do that for a while because I'm a little bit neurotic about blending, but I think we all kind of are. And I was definitely like out of frame for some of this, but I added some of that darker shade. And by that darker shade, I mean rustic. So the shades that I'm using are burnt orange and rustic as well as the bronzer that I used. I think we also took a little bit of cypress umber in the outer V. And now I'm adding a little bit of the grayish purple shade from the Dior palette and just adding more dimension and a little bit of like cool tone. It's kind of hard to see because I didn't angle myself like so perfectly, but I'm sure you can get the gist of what I'm doing here. I think for grad photos, it's just super important to choose colors that go best with your skin tone. So I'm a little bit neutral, leaning towards warm, and I have hazel eyes. So I think that browns and grays and purples and golds kind of just go with my skin tone. So that's why I decided to do purple. Well, not purple, but like taupey, purpley, brown shades. So yeah. So once again, I am just blending and checking in the mirror like if everything's even and blended, and I'm taking some along my lash line. We're still going to go in with like a bit of eyeliner, but I like to get everything as close to my lash line as possible so that everything looks really blended. And I also take it in my lower lash line, but just a little bit of the darker shade in my lower lash line. That's how it's looking before we're putting on the lid color. And then I'm going to take a flat shader brush and go in with some of these shimmer shades from the Dior palette. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of my highlighter and put that in the inner corners of my eye. This is also the highlighter I'm going to put a little bit on my face later, just so everything's like cohesive. My eyes match my face. Oh look, we're really up and close and personal. Now I'm going to get the shade Tempera and put that on my brow bone. The shade's a little bit matte, but it has a tiny bit of shimmer, so it's just like the perfect brow bone shade. And I use it almost every time. Now we're going in with eyeliner. I'm just going to do a thin line. I'm not great about doing eyeliner on camera, so I think I had to do part of this off camera. This is when I'm realizing they look very uneven and I'm not happy with the outcome, but I just gotta keep going. Now with the power of editing, I added lashes and lip gloss. And I lined my lips and put lipstick on, but my camera died, so that part didn't really show. And now I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on the cheeks, just on the highest points, just a tiny bit, because I don't want it to look too flashy in photos. And then I'm going to set my face to make everything look melted in and blended. And there we are, the finished look. I'm trying to take like a little thumbnail photo here. I'm a real YouTuber, I swear. Something else I do for photos is taking a little bit of highlighter or body lava or whatever and just add that to the high points of your body, like your collarbone, your shoulders, your arms, and also down the center of your legs so that you look extra glowy all over. For accessories, I decided to just go minimal and do little studs and a little necklace just to capture the light but not to look too gaudy. And there you have it. That's how I got ready for my graduation photos. Follow me on Instagram to see the pics.